What is going on, guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. I'm, as always, your grateful host, Cam Williamson. It's great to be back with you again. And today, we're going to talk about a book. As you can tell by the title, we're going to talk about my book. If you followed my show, this crazy roller coaster that it's been over the last 5 years, you've seen a lot of different things from me, right? Can we all agree on that? It would have started as like a Joe Rogan-esque, even it was like a psychedelic, smoking CBD on air, in the dark, I was doing a lot of like Joe Rogan-esque type stuff. Then it became all MMA. I took my fight. I did my fight. We did that. Then it became, and in between there was bodybuilding. I went to the Arnold. I started vlogging. I was doing a lot of things. After the MMA took a hiatus, the pandemic happened, and then I became YouTube guy, where I was doing cooking videos, and I was making backwoods videos where I was smoking backwoods on air, and I was doing a lot of different things that I probably would not do now on my own channel, right? Not saying that if I was on Rogan or something that I wouldn't smoke a backwood with Rogan, but I'm saying it's not a brand that I'm trying to build myself around, so you get it. The point being, there's been a lot of what I hope you guys see as evolution. I moved from that into skateboarding, and outside of the skateboarding came rock climbing, and I've been loving rock climbing, and I still do that. Not as much as I like, but I've been very busy with this. The next stage of my evolution, finding my path in life of becoming an author. I wrote a book. It's my book. It's my story. No one wrote it with me. No one, contributed to it at all. It's called The Road to Redemption, because that is my brand. A journey of chasing love and doing life the hard way. I can already tell I'm going to get emotional. I get very emotional just with this project. I want to say first and foremost, I want to apologize because there are parts of it that I would already improve. There are typos, a couple in there. One of the characters that you'll meet, and let's just cover this real fast. There are some characters, because this is my story, from the day I was born until I was the end of me writing this book. It's my story. So these are real situations that I'm talking about. There are real people that I'm talking about. Some names are changed. And in that, because you could probably see my difficulty in the typos of changing some people's names, because it's hard for me. These are real people who I love. So there's one character who you meet, and when you first meet him, his name is Charter, and then he becomes Carter. And he was one of my best friends. And like, for that to even be a situation that has to happen is difficult for me. So it's stuff like that where if their names are changed, it's probably because, you'll see the story. The other part that I want to apologize for is I wish I would have done better on the back of the book. So let me read the back of my own book, and then we'll go over it. The Road to Redemption, a journey of chasing love and doing life the hard way, is a young man's emotionally gripping story as he faces the struggles of love, addiction, and loss, which loss is spelled wrong. It says L-O-S-E, lose. Through the chapters of this book, the readers can hope to find strength and direction through life's most difficult challenges. Though all of us fall, we can all be redeemed. So I wrote that quickly after receiving the mock-up of how the cover would look for the book. This was blank. There was nothing there. And I had to create something. And I've never known what to call this journey. A journey of chasing love and doing life the hard way actually came very natural to me for some reason. When I was thinking on the day of titling this book, I go, what am I going to call it? Automatically, The Road to Redemption came, and I go, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that kind of logic at this point. And then I go, but that can't be all. The Road to Redemption, a journey of chasing love and doing life the hard way. And it was just an honest moment for a second. I was like, that's it. That's the name of the book. So this is what I call a romantic memoir. This is really a reliving of my love life. all of it. Having kids, losing kids, starting relationships, ending relationships, getting married, getting divorced. It's all in this book that encompasses only like 198 pages, but it's my whole life. And it's the most vulnerable that I've ever been. I tell everything. I tell things in this book that I've never told on the podcast. I've never told people that are closest to me in my life currently. Like, I put everything I am into this book. So what do I call it? It's my life. It talks about me as a young man mainly, and this is where I think the meat and potatoes of the book really is, if I'm being honest. It's a young man not knowing which direction to take when his heart and mind are telling him two different things, right? And in that, you see so many mistakes being made without even the knowledge that a mistake was even being presented, right? Like, sometimes you can fall into situations. We'll just use addiction, right? Because that's in here too, obviously. Sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you go, I don't know how I got here. Like, one day my life looked like this. I went somewhere someday. I tried this thing, and now I'm here. For me, like alcohol, and I didn't do a good enough job of talking about why alcohol was so like ingrained in my life, because it was, but that wasn't a picture I wanted to paint of my family. And some of that was really hard. Like, man, I had to say some stuff about members of my family that I didn't want to say. I didn't want to. And there's a saying that I almost put to the back of the book, which is like, if you wanted to be remembered differently, you should have acted differently. And I didn't do that because I think everybody has the right to live the life they want to live and do what they want to do. But I know that, like, there's a lot of people who are names changed in this book that will read this book, and they know the truth of the situation, and it's going to hurt them. Because I have, as you'll read in this book, a lot of people that destroyed my life by basing their foundation of a life off of lies about me, about my kids, about relationships I've been in, about places I've gone, you know. But while you see others' wrongdoings, you also see my own. You see a young man who has no emotional control. I have no impulse control. I have no ability to sit in my own self at a young age. And because of that, I learned a few of life's toughest lessons. And I'll share them with you without having to buy the book, because I didn't quite summarize it in a conclusion this way. But the most important lessons I've ever learned in my life, which is like, one, you can never work hard enough to make the wrong person love you. That's very important. There's not enough work you can do. There's not enough reading the 5 love languages and buying the couples journals and going to couples therapy. If it's not a natural fit to be, it's not gonna be. Right? So that's a hard one, especially when you genuinely love someone. Because loving someone is such a spectrum. You can love someone as a child and have a genuine love for them that can mature and grow, or you can have a love that starts as children that completely changes, or it dies, and then you meet people in your adulthood that you carry all those past lessons from, and you try to do it the right way each new time. And I think that's where the redemption part of this story comes in, because it is a lot of focus on my failures. I mean, it is. A lot of my life was that. You guys get to see probably the moment that I'm least proud of in my entire life, which is when I was demoted in the military. I got in trouble on my deployment for drinking, and it was really, really bad for me. And like, I'm probably the most ashamed of that, of anything in the book, because I own that. I did that. And something about that over everything else was like the hardest part for me to write, because while I was living it, you guys may not pick up on this in the book, but like, my life had completely fallen apart from the age of 17 until I was about 25, 26. Crumbled. Dust. Nothing. No substance. Nothing. I was an alcoholic with nothing to offer anybody. Nothing. And then I became a soldier, and I found my purpose in the military, but that was through escapism of wanting to escape the relationship I had got myself in. So I had attached myself to a toxic lifestyle that wasn't a part of genuinely who I was, to try, it was a way out. So when I deployed, I ran away from a situation, but I also had never dealt with any of the other ones from when I was a kid. So then I drank a lot, and I got arrested quite a few times. And I don't know how much you guys know about the legal system, but DUIs, it's not a smart idea to go ahead and rack those up. First one, probably going to be all right, as long as, everything else has been okay. Second one, boy, oh boy, are you probably going to serve some time. Just going to be honest with you. You're going to do some days at least. Third one, dude, you're going to jail, son. You are going to fucking jail most of the time. And I was facing 7 to 10 years in prison. Those years, some I would still be facing right now. My last DUI was 6 years ago. So had I got 7 years, I would still be doing one more had I not been let out on good behavior. That's my life in prison. For dumb fucking decisions I made when I was a kid. Young. I mean, I'm 31 now, so anything I did under 28, I consider to be a dumb kid. Like, that's just the way the mind grows. That's the way it evolves. That's the way it matures. It's like, you can wake up one day a completely different person than the day you were prior, all because you can have this revelation of self and go, oh, this mattered. That doesn't matter. I put my energy here now. I don't put my energy here now. But it takes a very intense and very heavy purging process of releasing, getting it out. If you let it sit stagnant, that's where it lives. It's going to live inside of you, as a part of you, as something that you will never be able to shake, because it lives deep within your DNA. If you don't get it out, this is why I think therapy is so helpful. This book was my therapy for the last year. Going, and you guys may hear this too, is when someone's never had a voice before, when you first use it, it's weird. That's kind of what this podcast has always been. That's why it's never made a lot of sense. It's a lot of rambling. It's me trying to find my genuine voice in this life. This book was my attempt as an adult at my maturest age that I could start it, to think of this project, to go, okay, what have I actually learned? And not only what I've learned, because I've learned so much, but I'll only put the things in my book that I know for a fact that I apply in my life. I'm not here to give you guys a journaling routine. That might be for the next book or one after, but like, I'm not here to tell you to drink water in the morning. I'm not here to tell you to stop drinking. I'm not here to tell you to do anything. I'm here to give you the manual of a very, very complicated life that has its own sense of imprisonment due to bad decisions. I didn't go to prison, but that does not mean I did not confine myself in other ways in my life. And in that, you will have to read the book. I love seeing this book. If you guys can't see, this is the hardback version. She looks nice. The book looks nice. I mean, when you go ahead and scroll through there, she looks good, dude. I'm very proud of it. I wish they didn't send this fuck all not for resale strip across the front when you order a proof, but they do. So here's what I'm going to do about that. if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, and that means you care about this book, I've signed this one. I'm going to go ahead and give it away. But I'm going to give it away next week. So next Monday, I will announce who the winner of this book is. To enter, just comment, leave me something. Leave me a purple heart. Leave me something saying you made it to the end. And bonus points if you go over to Amazon on Kindle and you buy the ebook version, which is available for pre-sale now. It's $9.99. And the book will be $14.99 for the paperbacks, $21.99 for the hardcovers. It's the same story. So don't break your bank trying to get a hardcover, because while it is great and it's awesome and she stands up nice and she displays good and they look good, I really enjoyed pulling it out of the Amazon package and be like, oh, that's a dope book. And then I had to be like, that's my book, dude. So, hey, pick up the book April 11th. I will see you guys in the next video. I love you so much.